Welcome to the Website Success Show, the podcast dedicated to helping women in business get more traffic and sales through their website with less reliance on social media and paid ads. I'm Jules White, the founder of the Website Success Hub, and I love helping local and online businesses make more money through their existing website. If you have a business you love but you don't like the way your website performs, then this is the show for you. Hi, welcome back to the Website Success Show. It's Jules here, and I've had lots of conversations this week about the constant need for visibility in our business and how exhausting it is, especially as service providers, where we just want to work with clients and want to connect with people in a meaningful way, rather than just gathering more followers that never actually turn into anything that helps our business. So today I want to talk to you about how I get clients without relying on social media and without having to build a massive audience, and the practical steps that you can take to apply this to your business as well. First of all, I just want to mention, I'm sorry if you can hear thunder rumbling in the background. We've had a UK heat wave for a few days, which has been driving me mad, trying to keep the dog cool, trying to keep the house cool. We live in a new build and they are just not designed for the hot weather, really. So anyway, if you can hear the rain pattering on the window, then I'm sorry about that. Or if you hear thunder rumbling in the background, then I'm sorry about that. But I'm not sorry that it has cooled down massively. So I am enjoying the cooler weather today. I have this conversation time and time again with people. It's probably one of the things that comes up the most often, where I talk to service providers, whether they have a scalable offer or not. So whether they have something that can be sold one-to-many, such as a group program, a course, whether they are selling something through e-commerce or even a physical store where they need a constant stream of clients and customers coming into their business, or even people who are just offering one-to-one time for money, where actually once they get fully booked, then that's it. They don't need any more clients at that point. Either way, both of these types of people are usually just burning out, trying to get more and more followers on social media without actually thinking about whether it's bringing the right people into their business, and about how exhausting it is as well. We have this pressure, I think, to post constantly, to show up on stories, to build this big following, and to build a business that is scalable. Whereas for many people, they just want to build a business that supports them and supports their lifestyle. They're not necessarily looking to build an empire, and that's completely fine. Especially for women, I think in particular, we have this pressure now to do everything, and we're often sold these lifestyles that aren't necessarily the next step to where we are in business right now. And if you just want a steady stream of clients coming into your business, and you need a handful of good clients, not thousands and thousands of followers, then social media platforms are probably not the best way to actually bring that into your business. The marketing advice that we see is often aimed at people selling to huge audiences, or aimed at very generic strategies that are teachable, because it's easier to teach about social media and posting and creating content than thinking about the ways to actually go out and make the most of our network, make the most of the content that we own, and get clients that way. So I'm going to share with you today exactly how I get clients, and social media isn't actually a part of that for me anymore. I broke up with social media about 3 months ago, where I made that decision to no longer use it in my business. I have found that it's definitely been great for just clearing my headspace and just cutting down some of that noise and helping me to be intentional about how I'm spending my time in my business. I should say more intentional, because I definitely feel like this is a work in progress. It's one of those things I think as business owners, we feel like we should just be able to do this. We should just automatically know how to plan our days in the best way, plan our marketing in the best way. It feels like it should all be a lot easier than it is. And often we end up listening to different advice and doing things that don't necessarily align with how we need to work to get clients coming into our business. And I think the social media platforms themselves really contribute to this as well. They want you to believe that you need them. So the algorithms are stacked to keep you on the platform, to keep you feeling inadequate, to keep you feeling FOMO, to keep you feeling like that next scroll might just be the thing that delivers that dopamine hit for you. I talked about this back in episode 105, why your brain and business deserves a break from harmful social media, where I talk about the fact that the platforms are constructed on the same algorithms that gaming and gambling apps use to try and keep you there and keep you scrolling, keep you hooked to those platforms, keep you checking the notifications. And this is one of the big things that I've definitely noticed from not being on social media, is that desire to check my phone. And I didn't even used to have the apps on my phone, but just that desire to automatically reach for my phone, I've become a lot more aware of it. And that's not to say that I never do it. I definitely am one for checking my emails a little bit too often, but it's something I'm aware of, and it's something that I am actually working on consciously to be more intentional about how I spend my time in my business. So we get told that we just need to post more, just need to create more content, just need to be more consistent, need to be more visible. And that if we keep doing that, that then the results will pay off in time. But your website can be doing a lot of the work that social media promises and then never delivers. And particularly if you're a local business, if you combine your Google business profile with that in terms of actually showing up when people are searching for what you do, rather than trying to interrupt that scroll and interrupt their news feed, really. Instead of that, people are out there searching for what you do and searching for a solution to their problem. And if you can be that person that shows up when they're searching, when they're ready to buy, then it's so much less difficult than trying to get them to convert from social media. So let me talk a little bit about how I actually get clients. And I definitely would say, and I always say this, that above every other form of online marketing, so above my website even, above SEO, above my email list, above the podcast, above the speaking and the visibility talks that I do, the one thing that I would tell people to focus on, whether you're just starting out in business or if you've been in business for a long time, is your network, is the relationships that you build with people, because no algorithm can take that away from you. So making sure that the people around you, the people who know you, know what you do and know how you help people, work out where are the right places to get in front of people, which is not always necessarily that easy. And that is something in itself that it needs to be an intentional part of networking and an intentional part of growing the relationships in your business. And I know networking in itself can often feel a bit icky, and a lot of people don't like doing networking, but just thinking about how you can build relationships. The majority of clients that have come into my business over the last few years have come from me getting to know people, having real conversations with people, regardless of whether I meet them networking or whether I meet them in places like my local NatWest Accelerator, where the networking is kind of incidental there, really. So we're all there trying to work on our businesses, trying to grow our businesses, getting mentoring and advice. And we are all in that same place. We're all business owners, and actually just talking to people there, getting to know people there and building relationships and collaborations there has been fantastic. So whether you're then thinking about how you can work together with those people, for example, I did a talk last week for somebody who had a group who needed some advice and training on SEO. They needed an SEO basics masterclass, essentially, which I love delivering those kind of talks, especially when we're really getting down to the simple explanations that often get missed when people are doing training around SEO. This group had already had somebody come in and train about SEO. And yet there was still a real demand for me to come in and just deliver it in a way that actually felt doable and felt actionable by the people in the group. So building that relationship and just making the offer of, would you like me to come in and do a talk for the group? And doing that meant that I could get in front of lots of new people. I think when the email went out, I think there was something like, I think she said there were something like over 130 people had already registered for the class that I was delivering. And I honestly don't mind if I deliver that kind of class even to 5 people, if it's the right people who are in the position to be able to take action on it. So the people who are interested in growing their business without social media, or interested in actually just having a more reliable way of marketing their business. I would much rather get in front of 5 people like that than 3,000 people who have no intention of doing anything with their website, or don't even have a website, or a completely different business model to the one from who I help clients with. Just a quick break here. If you're ready to get more from your website without feeling overwhelmed, come and join us in the Website Growth Club. It's my monthly membership where we focus on one simple, actionable SEO or website strategy each month, with step-by-step lessons, live Q&As, and real support to keep you moving forward. You don't need to do it alone, and you can find out more and join us at thewebsitesuccesshub.com/grow. So that is always my number one recommendation. Build your relationships. Think about who you already know. Think about how you can just reach out to people and say, hi, how's it going? It doesn't have to be that you're reaching out, asking them to do something, asking them to buy something. Sometimes just tapping in with people and saying hi and checking up on how things are going for them is massively helpful. When I first started my business and when I was using social media, one of the benefits of using it was getting to know people inside Facebook groups, and I definitely had got to know a few people and built relationships through that. What I'm actually focusing on now is the groups that I'm in outside of social media. So the communities that I'm in, the WhatsApp groups, some of the school communities, the circle communities I'm in. I've actually found some communities around people who are building businesses without social media, and I'm really loving just starting to explore those as well and just building some relationships in there. I'm also launching my own community called Success Without Socials. Visit my website to find out more. It may, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, it may or may not already have been launched, or if not, then get on the waiting list so you can come in as soon as the doors open. And I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to having it as a place where we can gather as people who are more intentional about their marketing and who want to build a business that works for them and is not built around some dream business model that somebody else has created. I want to build these connections for the people within the community. And I'm really excited about that. So then next on the list is my own content, whether that is my website, my podcast, or essentially my email list as well. But specifically starting with the podcast. So when I'm creating content, I'm always thinking about the fact that it's content that I own first. I'm now also starting to think about how I can create content that is more non-commodity content. And I talked about this last week on the episode 135, where I talked about how algorithms are now prioritizing content that shows your unique perspective. It's not something that can just be generated by AI, and it shows your real lived experience. And this is one of the most important things when we're thinking about creating content, is that it's something that shows that we know what we're doing, shows why we're the expert in what we do, and shows that we have real experience within that as well. So when I'm thinking about my website is set up to be found. I'm really clear on what I do and who I help. I'm definitely doing some work on my website this year. It's part of being even clearer about my offers and about the way that I can work with people and who it's for in particular, and about the problems that I solve for people as well. So when I'm thinking about my content and my programs, I'm focusing on solving 4 core problems that hold many business owners back. So number 1 is visibility, which is getting your business to show up when people are searching for what you offer. So whether that's on Google, in maps, or even through AI tools, it's getting your business to show up when people are out there searching. So with my content on my website and with the podcast episodes, that's one of the main things that I'm helping people with. Number 2 is conversions. So turning visitors into real bookings and sales, making sure your website is set up in a way that it actually converts. Number 3, making social media optional, optimizing your website so that it does the heavy lifting for your business and you're not relying on that constant posting. And then number 4 is clarity and focus, knowing what to prioritize first so you stop wasting your precious time and start building visibility that lasts. So that's what I'm working on with my own website and the podcast as well. And I already find that this brings clients into me. So especially with the podcast, people tell me that they have found the podcast, and I love it when they tell me they found it through a Google search. That's always great for me to hear. My podcast itself is also set up to show up in search. So the episodes within Buzzsprout, which is my podcast hosting platform, they're all set up for search in there. And also within the episodes on my website as well, that's all set up for searchability or for visibility and for SEO there as well. So people listen to episodes, they often will then book a discovery call or they'll send me a message, and they already feel like they know me because they've heard me talking, they've heard what I am all about, they've heard how I help people. And I think having that there has been one of the real strengths for my business. The podcast has helped my website as well. It's helped to bring more links into my website. Being on other people's podcasts has helped with that as well. And that kind of comes back to the first point of growing relationships. So having guests onto my podcast has been something that I've moved a bit more into this year. A few more guest episodes coming up and a few more scheduled in the next few months. And also then being a guest on other people's podcasts has helped me to build those relationships with people as well. Building that referral network as existing clients recommending me to new people. Word of mouth is one of the things that I think a lot of business owners are afraid of relying on. I often speak to business owners who say that most of their clients come through recommendations and referrals, but then they want to focus on other marketing beyond that in case the referrals dry up. But I think that referrals are probably one of the most reliable ways of growing your business, because as long as you're still doing the things that encourage the referrals, so asking for referrals, providing a good service, letting people know if you have space for some clients, building your network, as I talked about, those kind of things. If you keep doing those, then why should your referrals dry up? It's only if you stop doing that and maybe then your focus goes onto other areas that it could cause a problem and the word of mouth and referrals dry up. From doing guest talks and from being visible in other people's groups, I have definitely found that this has brought clients in. I've had lots of discovery calls booked recently from me being in places and being the guest expert and doing talks around SEO, around social media being optional, around Google business profiles. So doing lots of talks has definitely been helpful for me, especially if it's in places where it stays there as evergreen content. So people have got masterminds, or if there's group programs, online courses, and my talk stays there as an evergreen piece of content, then that's something that can bring me clients and has brought me clients in down the line as well. I've had the first podcast I was ever on, which was the Beauty Business Secrets podcast with Adam Chatterley. And then that brought me a client 2 years after I was on that podcast, which that's the ultimate goal, right? That your marketing and the things that you do in your business don't just pay dividends for today. They're not just like a post where you post it and then an hour later that content is forgotten about, 24 hours later, and it's disappeared entirely. Whereas this long form, sustainable content that can be found over and over again can keep bringing clients into your business for years to come. My email list as well. I have quite a small email list. I think at the moment I've only got about 700 people on my email list, but my email list consistently brings money into my business, whether that's people booking discovery calls or buying from me or listening to the podcast. It does help to grow my business. And the email list is a way that, rather than just trying to interrupt their scroll on social media, I can connect with people directly in their inbox. And I know we all feel like we get so many emails, but when people have joined your list and asked to hear from you, then assuming that they want to hear from you is probably a more positive way to think of it, really. And especially if your emails are helpful, they're not just AI generated content. Again, you're putting your own experience and your own take on things. You're actually sharing that with your email subscribers and delivering value there. Then I definitely feel that's a great way to grow your business. I know there are people's lists that I'm subscribed to, and I always open their emails because they deliver such good content. If you're growing an email list, then clearing it out at the other end is important. And that's probably why my list is quite small, because I have a automation set up that if people haven't opened my emails within 90 days, then they get taken off of the subscribers list, which just reminds me that I need to get more people coming in at the other end. I listen to Liz Wilcox. I'm a member of her membership. And one of the things she says is that your email list is like a river, and you should have new people flowing into your email list all of the time, and people will flow out at the other end as well. So email list, definitely something that is an important way that I actually grow my business and get clients coming into my business without anything around social media being involved in that. So all this to say, you might be feeling like you're doing all the marketing, you're doing all the things, and it's still not necessarily bringing you that steady stream of clients into your business. But it might just be that you're not following the strategy that is actually right for your business model. You probably don't need just a bigger following and more likes and more posting, more content. You need to get your website working for your business and the content that you own as your focus. Working out what works for your type of business beats hustling and trying to work harder and just trying to do more. I'm really focusing this year on doing the right things and trying to remove a lot of the noise from both my business and my personal life as well. Just trying to simplify life and just make it a bit easier so it doesn't feel like a constant slog to be running a business as a solopreneur. And you don't have to be everywhere. Don't have to be creating content all the time. You need to have your content findable so that you connect with people when they're actually searching for businesses like yours. So if this has resonated with you, come and join us inside the Website Growth Club. It's where we do exactly this. Build websites and systems that bring clients to you consistently, regardless of whether you are working in your business, walking the dog, or sitting on the beach. I'll link in the show notes so you can find out more about the Website Growth Club. Come and have a look. And if you're not sure if it's right for you, then send me a message. Or if you feel like you want more one-to-one help with your business, then book a discovery call. We can have a chat about where you are, where you're hoping to get to, and if any of my programs or my content can help you with that, I'll point you in the right direction. So I hope you found this helpful. Remember, you can build the business that you want, and you can market it in the way that actually feels enjoyable to you. And most of all, remember that social media is optional. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye. If you'd like to attract more local clients, grab my free local visibility checklist. It'll show you the simple steps you can take to show up in your area for what you do. You can download it at thewebsitesuccesshub.com/local. And thanks for tuning in to the Website Success Show.